It's Black Friday, but I still did the show live. I hope you like today's episode. Enjoy. Well, today, Black Friday and Brown Friday, November 29th, 2024. Shout out to all those plumbers out there having to deal with all the post-Thanksgiving results, if you catch my drift. Any clogs and drains, any clogged toilets out there that for some reason you need a plumber to show up to help unclog the toilet. That would be a terrible thing to go through. A terrible thing. Brown Friday being the worst day for plumbers out there. I feel like if I were a plumber, I'd have to be mentally ready for a day like today. So if you're a plumber tuning in right now, we appreciate you around here, especially me. If you're working at all today, we appreciate you. I'm here live in studio. Most people are not in the office today, but I decided, you know what? I'll show up, do the afternoon show live, and get some extra work done. If you want to get a hold of me, the number is 208-535-1015. Yesterday was more so a boring day. It's always bad when you're by yourself and all the stores are closed because then there's really nothing to do. I mean, you could go out into like on a nature trail and walk around if you really wanted to, but it's colder outside now. If Thanksgiving took place during the summer, I would have been right out there hiking around, spending most of the day just looking at nature. But nope, for the most part, I was inside doing my laundry, getting things cleaned up, getting a head start on the weekend. Victor, since you're here. Oh, okay, Victor's walking to his office. He'll be back in here. I need to talk to him about some breaking news that happened that he shared on our Facebook page. I was waiting for him to get back from his lunch break to talk about this live on the air. Oh, man. Still waiting for him. There he is. He's coming back. What up, the reason why I texted you asking you if you were coming back is because I saw the sick new world news.
I talked about it this morning because there was a lot of rumors going around.
The one from State of the Scene about how Mr. Bungle's bassist Trevor Dunn said it wasn't happening.
Guy from Tomahawk.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the whole Trevor Dunn post. I'm like, you know what? Maybe he's just full of himself. Maybe it's just a alleged rumor.
That one made me go, oof, this ain't looking good.
Really?
Just because, why would Trevor Dunn just throw that out there?
True.
A lot of people very excited to see Tomahawk play, or were, because they haven't played shows in ages.
And I felt bad for you because Acid Bath was supposed to be performing there.
I know.
But aren't they going to be at another festival?
They're going to be at Sonic Temple.
Sonic Temple, okay.
Which is in, terrible Columbus, Ohio.
Oh.
And, those festivals that happen in May every year, it always seems like bad weather hits and at least one of the days gets canceled.
Yeah.
I remember when Chris Cornell died. I think Soundgarden was supposed to be on Sonic Temple, and it used to be called something else. I can't remember what it is. But they had to cancel a day, I believe, the day after Chris Cornell died. But yeah, I can't remember what that festival used to be called. But anyway, what this leads me toward is hoping that Acid Bath will do a headlining tour, or some more dates.
They might have already been planning on that. They just wanted to.
I think they were.
Have this festival sort of announce them returning.
Exactly.
And then say, all right, we're now going on this tour.
And they probably were contractually obligated to only promote, these two massive shows.
Right.
So if they've got other stuff in the works, they were probably waiting till, a ways down the road because, you want people to buy tickets to that big show. Well, not no more.
Yeah, it sucks. A whole lot of bands and
tons of bands.
I don't really know many people that are excited for this around here just because it's so far away.
Yeah, and it's a good 8-hour drive.
Yeah, and even if you fly, you have to you still have to spend extra
money.
money.
And the tickets were a minimum of $400.
Right.
The only way I was going to go is if I could get media access and just get to work the show.
Well, now you're the reason why they canceled it, because they thought Victor Wilt was about to show up. They're like, okay, cancel the entire thing. No, I think it was more so due to the fact that they couldn't make money off of it.
Maybe. It's hard to know if it's a ticket sales thing. The announcement that they made just said the usual unforeseen circumstances.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Hard to say. Hard to say.
I would say it boils down to not making money.
That's a good guess. Because, right now, people are hurting for cash.
Yeah.
I went to Vegas and, it was really expensive. things have gotten to be a lot more pricey. So when you look at having to book a flight, having to book a hotel, having to buy a $400 ticket minimum, that most people can't afford that. I can't afford that.
No,
you know?
no, not at all. Not anybody in my age range, but except for those that are like engineers or something to do with science. I'm sure they're making big bank, but that's about it.
I mean, I would think I would be willing to pay almost any amount of money to see Acid Bath because I've never seen them, and they're one of my all-time favorite bands. But it was so expensive that even to see a band that, who knows if you'd ever have another opportunity to see them live, and they're seriously one of my favorite bands. They're right up there with Tool. Couldn't afford it. It was just a no-go.
What's that word, manifest? Let's hope that next year there's a Tool Acid Bath show.
Oh, man, how would that be? That'd be great. Tool, take Acid Bath out on tour.
The Victor Wolf experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
First, Sick New World canceling the entire festival out in Vegas in April next year. There's been this rumor popping up as of late that AC/DC is going to announce a big-time North American tour, something that I've been anticipating for quite some time now. And then there was like this whole article talking about how Axl Rose was going to be the vocalist for AC/DC, which didn't make sense to me as to why Brian Johnson could tour over in Europe but not over here, unless there was like some sort of like visa issue, which I don't think there's anything with that at all with Brian Johnson. I think he lives in Florida out of all places. I was trying to think of something as to why they would choose Axl Rose to potentially just replace Brian for the North American tour, which hasn't been announced yet. But there have been people who are in the know that have said Guns N' Roses is actually going to be touring next year, but it's going to be a European tour, and they're going to be in Stockholm, Sweden, all these different places over there. So he will be touring with Guns N' Roses and not with AC/DC. I'm hoping next Tuesday we get the big announcement, AC/DC announcing a North American tour, and they come to the area, or they have that one stop in Los Angeles where I call my dad immediately and tell him, hey, AC/DC's coming. We got to get tickets, and I got to fly back home and go see them with my dad because they'll be retiring for the most likely next year. You know that for a fact. They're getting older. They'll do like one more album maybe and have that be like the final thing they ever do. It was on Victor's morning show that we were talking about the most hated TV characters of all time. And I was wondering why exactly Caillou, out of all people, out of all the characters ever, was listed at number 8 or number 9. And so I was like, you know what? Let me ask ChatGPT. Let me see what artificial intelligence thinks as to why Caillou is considered one of the most hated TV characters of all time. And right off the bat, ChatGPT just started roasting the guy. Caillou, the whiny, bald-headed 4-year-old from the Canadian kids TV show Caillou, has earned a reputation as one of the most disliked characters in children's programming. Here are some of the reasons why he grates on people's nerves. Number 1, the whining, which I don't remember him being all that whiny. I remember him throwing like some tantrums here and there, but that's typical of a 4-year-old. You're basically hating on a toddler. Number 2, bad role model behavior. Interesting. Instead of resolving his issues calmly or learning a lesson gracefully, Caillou often throws tantrums or pouts until things magically go his way. I guess I'll have to binge watch Caillou one of these times if I'm ever really just bored and see this for myself. Monotone narration and lack of energy. The show's slow pacing and soft-spoken narration can feel mind-numbing to adults. Well, that wasn't Caillou. That was just the narrator. And still, I mean, I didn't mind that when I was a kid. I mean, I could not imagine being a parent having to deal with watching shows like Blippi or Bluey, any one of those TV shows. Now, it's going to suck when I finally have kids and I have to play those kids' TV shows and watch what I have to watch, or watch what they have to watch, and then watch what I have to watch on my own time because I don't want them seeing anything that's not appropriate for their age. I'm confused as to why number 5 here on this list of why Caillou is one of the most hated characters of all time. The bald head debate. Caillou's baldness has sparked plenty of jokes and theories. While it's likely a stylistic choice, or because he was initially created for baby books, some find it unnerving and associate it with a character who's stuck as an eternal toddler. There's the battle of the bald kids on children's TV shows. Caillou and Little Bill. I know that's been an online debate. Who's going to win that fight? I mean, clearly I'm saying Little Bill's going to win that one. And this right here is your Shot Clock Sports Update. Well, today the radio prep is not providing me with any brief headlines in the sporting world that I could go off of. So instead, I went to TMZ Sports. I wanted to make sure I talked about Alabama A&M's Medrick Burnett Jr. He unfortunately passed away at 20 years old because he got a head injury in one of the games. Hence why I never wanted to play football ever. They would have fattened me up, been one of the big dudes in the middle, and I would have taken so many hits to the head and various parts of my body, I would have been a vegetable later down in life, possibly dead, unfortunately. Rest in peace to Medrick Burnett Jr. here. Let's scroll down here. Taylor Swift getting reported once again in the sports section because, well, she's dating Travis Kelce. She spent the Thanksgiving day, she spent Thanksgiving with Travis's family. She hung out with the Kelces. That's about it. Interesting. Cool. Neat. Let's move on. The Chicago Bears, they fired Matt Eberflus, that's a cool last name. Matt Eberflus. His era is over in Chicago. The Bears just fired the guy in his third year with the team, making the first in-season head coaching move in franchise history. The news broke today, less than 24 hours after the Bears' sixth straight loss at the hands of the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day, a result that was met with heavy criticism. Detroit, I think, is doing quite well this season. I was glad to see all my fantasy football players did well so far. I had 3 of them overperform in some cases, which was great to see. I'm hoping that this weekend, every other player does that. I want to get 10 victories this season. I'm at 9 right now. Anyway, that does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on K-Bear 101. There's been a lot of weird rumors within the rock and metal world today. At the beginning part of the show, talked about how Sick New World got canceled, which earlier it was rumored that it was going to be the bassist for Mr. Bungle, Trevor Dunn. Is that his name? Trevor Dunn? Yeah. He talked about how, that festival's not happening. He just mentioned that to some random person. That got leaked onto State of the Scene. And I read that and went, I'll believe it when I see it. And sure enough, shortly after I saw the news that Sick New World was canceled just due to the unforeseen circumstances is what the post says. And I think every band out there is just struggling. And hence that's why they can't put on these tours that cost a lot of money. There was that rumor. There was the Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose taking over AC/DC rumor. And now people are trying to say that Jimmy Kimmel fans are demanding apologies from Knocked Loose for scaring kids. I don't know what. I feel like that's fake. I feel like that's entirely fake. And it was a pivotal moment for hardcore music. It was a pivotal moment for the metal community when Gojira was a part of the Olympics and Knocked Loose being a part of Jimmy Kimmel Live. And it's been a great year for rock and metal overall. I think somebody out there just said, hey, you see, like one person complained online that Knocked Loose is crazy. They shouldn't have him on TV. And that became like this whole article, something like that. I doubt anybody truly complained. I think it was more so unique that Knocked Loose played on Jimmy Kimmel's show with Poppy. There was a massive pit. If you look at the viewer count of all of those performances of like Jelly Roll on Jimmy Kimmel, Shabuzi on Jimmy Kimmel, those performances only got a few thousand views. But Knocked Loose being on Jimmy Kimmel, that got like 500,000 views and it's still going. So I'm hoping that despite me not liking Jimmy Kimmel in any way, shape, or form, I'm hoping he books more of these fun bands. I mean, he's had Turnstile on. He's had Metallica on in the past. I did see Conan O'Brien years ago, had Lamb of God on his show. It's great to finally have more and more metal and rock in the mainstream, especially Gojira at the Olympics. That was such a huge thing this year. Considering it is Black Friday, there are a lot of sales going on. I follow a lot of bands on Facebook. Every single one of them is posting, hey, come check out our new merch at a discounted price. Get yours today before it's out. I did see the Ghost Inside this morning as I was hanging out in the Cannonball studio waiting for Victor to finish his morning show, that the Ghost Inside posted this awesome t-shirt that had the Taco Bell logo on the front, but instead of saying Taco Bell, it said the Ghost Inside, and then on the back it said, for whom the bell tolls. If you know me, you know I'm the biggest Taco Bell fan there is. And I was really, really wanting that T-shirt. I even had it in my cart. They had my size. The price wasn't too bad. I even entered my card's numbers and everything. And then I just backed out. Right as I was about to proceed to check out, I was like, I can't do it. I can't spend $35 on a T-shirt right now. I got to think about the food I need to buy before next paycheck. I need to think about the necessities I need for my place. I just can't do it. I can't spend any money on this Black Friday, which stinks because I'm seeing all these cool products from different bands. Luckily, last night I sent my Christmas list to my family, and I said, hey, I overall just need any new clothes, shirts, hoodies, pants, shoes, etc. Anything clothing worthy is good enough for me. And I even said, how about any one of these bands with their merch? And I listed Spite, Nothing More, Ghost. I started listing off all these bands for my parents who don't know anything about the genre whatsoever. I'm hoping this upcoming Christmas I do get some sick new band T-shirts or something to make up for my lack of spending on this Black Friday where they're at a discounted price. I'll just have my parents pay for them instead and give them to me. Well, I just talked about Black Friday deals with band merch, and I saw NBA 2K25 was 50% off, and I still am not really wanting to spend $30 on that game either. I figured I might as well just wait. I'll see. Maybe this weekend I'll feel guilty enough to, uninstall NBA 2K24 and finally move on to this upcoming season or this new game. I usually buy NBA 2K every single year. But as I've talked about on the show plenty of times, it's the creators behind it have not listened to the fans at all. The game seems to be getting worse and worse every single year, and they just do not care. I'm thinking at some point people are just going to get frustrated and stop playing these games, and then eventually they'll listen. Hopefully they'll listen, but I doubt it. I truly doubt it. But yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything for Cyber Monday at all. I was trying to find some sweet Cyber Monday deals. Maybe I could find a shirt for 70% off. Maybe buy that. Something, but I haven't seen anything posted for Cyber Monday. The deals for Black Friday have not been all that good. And I'm kind of glad I went here today instead of just driving around town trying to convince myself that I should buy maybe a video game from Target or something like that. I always feel guilty when I do stuff like that. I really shouldn't buy something like this for myself when I need to buy necessities. I need to buy things that are higher priority compared to NBA 2K25. I don't know about you, but I've gotten quite sick of those two actresses for Wicked. I know about Ariana Grande, but I don't know the other woman's name. It's Cynthia something. They're holding each other's hands in every single interview, and they're crying during every single interview. They're much so insufferable. And the movie Wicked, I've heard it's good from a lot of people, but it's just not my thing. And seeing those interviews, I'm not the only one who's saying this about them. There's plenty of people making jokes about those two online, even some just reenacting their interviews, and it's quite funny. I think I shared one of them on our Twitter page at KBear101 FM. Moviegoers are urging Wicked fans to stop taking photos of the screen, is what I'm seeing here on the radio prep here. The debate blew up after a user on Twitter shared a photo they snapped of the film while watching it in theaters and encouraged others to do the same. Write and show your Wicked Part 1 photos. You're just taking a photo of the screen and then putting it online hey, I'm at the movie theater watching this. Can't wait to see it. Critics of the people doing this called the thread of posts disgraceful, illegal, some even tagging the movie's distributor, Universal Pictures, and asking them to do your thing and take these down. First, it was the singing along to the movie. Now it's just people taking pictures of the screen. It's sad that it's associated with this movie, one of the biggest movies out there right now. But, I mean, we talked about the whole singing thing already with even The Rock saying, hey, you know what? You should sing along in the theater. No, keep quiet. Watch the movie. If you want to make noise, watch it at home. Wait for it to go on demand. Watch it at home then. For some reason, Viktor is a huge fan of just going to nude resorts and all these different places where you're supposed to be nude. I don't know why, but I would encourage him to go to this place over in England. The Mill Arms in Dunbridge near Southampton will be the venue for the Christmas lunch that regulars will be in shock for if they accidentally step into the wrong room. They're hosting this event. The pub is welcome to have this naked Christmas dinner. The nudists will have access to the function room with its own bar and toilets, but naked diners will have to be careful, as starters will include a steaming bowl of soup, which may be a hazard to those only wearing their birthday suits, if you catch my drift. Why would you want to be naked eating food? I don't understand it. I don't understand why exactly you want to be naked at a resort or anything like that. I feel weird just walking around my apartment in my underpants, and I'm by myself with the windows closed. I can't imagine going outside just completely. Oh, no, yeah, gross. I love how there's this whole article about if you dread doing the dishes after Thanksgiving, this will make life way easier. And it has all these tips. Do what you can do in advance, the best way to utilize the dishwasher, how to hand wash efficiently. How about this? You use paper plates, plastic forks, plastic knives, plastic spoons. There you go. No dishes needing to be done. Perfect, right? You'll have a couple dishes, like the dish that the turkey will go in the oven and such. You can't obviously put it on a plastic plate in there and all that fun stuff. But, I mean, overall, for the most part, if you don't want to have over a whole lot of dishes, just use plastic utensils, paper plates. I know people are probably going to get mad at me for saying that. That's bad for the environment, Peaches. Well, it's convenient if you're hosting a giant Thanksgiving dinner. Instead of writing this whole, how many paragraphs is this? Like 12-paragraph article about doing the dishes. How about you just do the darn dishes? If you are hosting Thanksgiving, you know for a fact that you're going to have to wash the dishes afterwards, or have other people join in and make it easier. Simple as that. Peaches Pit Party on K-Bear 101. There's this whole scientific article talking about a new study. There could be a genetic breakthrough that may pave way to creating allergy-free cats. I'm in. Let's go. Somehow, some way, if they're able to do that, I'll get myself a cat right away. Right away. That's the only thing. That's, for the most part, what I worry about. Because sometimes I really just want to adopt a pet, but then I'm like, I can't do it because then my apartment will have cat hair everywhere. My nose will be going off. I'll be having to take allergy pills. What are those things called? The air purifier. I need one of those in my room. My parents have one in my old bedroom because of Luna the cat. Our former dog, Daphne, she passed away, but her hair still lingers around. Well, luckily, no, she was hypoallergenic, so I'd say it's mostly the cat's fault, Luna. It's clearly not Sheldon's fault, who's our tortoise in the backyard. He just chills out during the spring and summertime. That's about it. But, yeah, I would love to get a cat, but can't do it. My allergies would go crazy. If this happens, I'm excited for this. I'm actually very excited. Allergy-free cats in the near future. I'm hoping we get those before GTA 6. It's real unfortunate that Nick Nocturnal hasn't gotten back to me via email. I was hoping to have him on to promote the Nick Nocturnal Awards. He's already had a ton of votes for this year. I think that he said there was over 25,000 votes, which is almost breaking the record for most votes for the Nick Nocturnal Awards. I'm glad it's huge now. Highly deserved. He's putting a spotlight on the rock and metal world, and I'm glad to see that happening. And I even voted this morning. I voted for Nothing More's Carnal for Album of the Year. I forgot exactly what my other votes were, but I do know Nothing More was my choice. And I even talked about that prior to the Nick Nocturnal Awards getting announced, that Nothing More put out the best album, in my opinion, of 2024. I wish we could do the end of the year K-Bear Awards. That would just take up too much time for me to come up with that whole thing, all the nominations, put them out there, that sort of thing. I'd much rather just tell people, hey, go vote on Nick's Awards. There you go. He spent the hours doing that. I'll spend the hours worrying about promos and stuff and doing my job rather than just some fun little extra task at the end of the year. Considering we got off a little bit early today, through the magic of radio, this show will continue on this afternoon. There is no To Peach Their Own because I got off from work around 3. And I just figured, why not simply just ask a question on our Facebook? You could answer it if you really wanted to. I just talked about the whole Album of the Year nomination. I just figured, why not, for our main page, K-Bear 101, ask, what is, in your opinion, the Album of the Year for 2024? I wrote my answer. Mine's Nothing More, Carnal. I think Victor might say Poppy's album might be Album of the Year. Who knows? Let me know your answer on our Facebook page, just at K-Bear 101 FM. Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoy the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.